Hello, this is Dave and welcome to Equity Story. Just having a quick look on the Dow. It looks certainly really bullish. And the question that everybody's asking themselves is how long is this Trump pump going to last? And I think it's going to be honest, I think it's going to keep on going quite a little bit further. There was an interesting article and they use Elliott Wave, and we post on Einstein's trending blog. And they, and I think it's important to, although Elliott Wave is not one of our preferred indicators, it's important to have an open mind of what people are using and certainly what works. And they obviously believe the Elliott Wave, we're in a phase 5, and if you look at the S&P 500, I think they've got a target price about another sort of 250 points higher, and on the Russell, they've got a target price of about 1500. That's about another 11%, and what they're saying after that, they reckon we're going to have another fall similar to the GFC. That I'm not totally convinced about. I think the pullback will be pretty decent, but I think to be honest, I just see too much money coming to the stock market, coming out of bonds, and I think any pullback I can see being bought into pretty quickly. But I must say, I had a chat today, and I get the little bear and the BBUS. I was very happy to see. I had a guy came in today, and he's got a great portfolio, and good to see that he's got the bear and the BBUS, because if those of you don't know what the bear and the BBUS are, they're basically it's a hedge on your portfolio, that when the markets do go down, you can obviously collect on these stocks, and I think they'll make pretty good money. The reason we're saying this is that yes, we are sort of pretty bullish, I think, the first half of this year or later, but we do expect, and here's another sort of snapshot of the Dow, we are expecting, even if this runs up to even as high as 23,000, I think sometime in the next 2 years this market's going to come back at 12,000. So we are sort of holding the bear and the BBUS, and I think as this market does bubble up even more, we'll dive in and buy some more, and sometime in the next 2 years we're going to collect on those trades, and I think we're going to collect big. I like having these EFTs as part of part of what we do, and I think it's very important, as is obviously I think the gold story. Like I've said before, these are unprecedented times. There's never been times in the world where you've had these sort of artificially these interest rates kept at these artificially low rates. I think it's going to cause a lot of tidal waves over the next 2 years that we haven't experienced before, and it's good to have our sort of what the shares we're buying Equity Story have a little bit of success either way. What I would like to just say, that obviously the trends are looking good today. The market's sort of pretty bullish, and have a look at those trends. And again, we're trying to pick trends at the moment which are pretty solid companies, like I think ALK. They all look pretty good today. ALK looks fine, just holding that short-term trend. Hansen having a nice move, just doing what it does. Domino's just looking good. ORA. So I won't bore you. They're pretty solid. They're real sort of slow burner type trends we've got on at the moment. RFG is in that category as well. Had a good day today. Got a little buy signal coming, so it might not be too long before we get that sort of $7 that we're looking for, and that would be obviously, if we can get that, it'd be a nice little 5-6% return in a few weeks if it happens. Good to see BAP doing that what we've said it should do again. Got that nice little sort of crucifix sign at the moment. It's quite a bullish sign that the market it could have a good day tomorrow, so we'll see. What I would like to talk tonight is just quickly about the 10 baggers of micro caps. I've had so many parents like coming to Equity Story recently with I know a lot of mums and dads love the micro caps, but what last year Equity Story, and I just get the chart of NUH up at the moment. Last year at Equity Story, we did actually buy a few stories and things like things that really didn't have any revenue, like things like Refine, which we made a fortune on, and Norwood and RAP, and there's quite a few of them, and we actually did really well on them. but they're just stories and they're not revenue. So, eventually at the end of the day, and you can see with Refine, if they can't get revenue, then basically they're down to they go down to nothing, and you've lost your money. What we basically, and 90% of our microcaps, we look for revenue, because what that does, it puts a floor under the share price. So although some of the and it really is a bad sector at the moment, the microcap sector, and like I said, when I was trading stocks, I only have a few of them in my portfolio because they're high risk, and you do need patience with them. And I think the important thing is just to understand that if you're buying into these microcaps, you can't look and buy them as a short-term trend or pump and dump. I think you've really got to buy a story, and the ones we're putting on at the moment are ones that got revenue. They're growing their earnings, like AHZ and CM8, Star Group, LP, and although those share prices, and I think that's just the market at the moment with those microcaps, haven't been performing, eventually as the revenue is growing and those earnings are growing, they'll turn and they'll make money, and eventually they'll do well for us. The stocks that won't do well for us are buying stories, and it's quite funny. I think the psychology of mums and dads, they like to buy a story, and they like to buy a music studio, or they like to buy a fast bricks, and sort of simple things that we can all understand because it's fun. You can talk about it in the pub, but really the way eventually over the sort of medium to longer term, the way to make money is to buy companies that have got revenue and are making money and are growing their revenue. So I'd just like you to keep that in mind. That's a little bit how we're thinking with with our stocks, and especially the microcaps and equity story, that we're not keen, generally speaking, in buying a story. We're keen because we're trying to obviously do as much as we can to protect you with what the sort of stocks you're going into. We like to buy a company which has got revenue that obviously in the long term is going to protect you. Anyway, that's all I've got to talk about tonight, equity story. Thank you for listening, and let's hope this Trump pump continues a little bit longer. Thank you, and good night.